Okay, well, today is November 26, 2014. I'm Nancy Laine, and we are continuing our discussions with Daniel Conley. Thanks again, Daniel, for being with us today again.
Thank you, Nancy.
Absolutely. And so today, the subject of this particular training session is going to be how to figure out what words to put on your LinkedIn profile and where, okay? And I'm going to start out by saying that I really do encourage people to start out by finding a job opening listed somewhere that looks like something that they'd enjoy doing. And so Daniel has done that, and I'm going to show you that with my screen here. We have picked this position right here. It's an open position at Facebook for product manager in Menlo Park, California. And so the reason I have you start by finding the position is right in this position, it's going to tell you what words you need to have on your profile. And, of course, we're only going to put the words that are totally authentic, that really truthfully do represent what you are able to do. But let's just start by looking at this job opening here, this job description. One thing they're telling you right in the second paragraph is that the product managers at Facebook work with teams of engineers and designers to build products, and that they're looking for extremely entrepreneurial product managers to help innovate and execute product initiatives across the company. So we know right now some of the words that we need to incorporate. And by the way, you definitely want to use the same words that they're using. Those are words they like. Okay, you don't have to figure out how to put it into words because this is telling you right there. We know that they're looking for extremely entrepreneurial people. So we know that we've got to show in the various parts of your profile that you are indeed extremely entrepreneurial. And I happen to know that you are. So
yes,
we also, and we also need to use the word innovate and innovation because they love that word, and I know how innovative you are, Daniel. So this is going to be fun.
Thank you.
So, and I know that you know how to execute product initiatives across the company. Yeah, because I know a lot about what you've done, and of course we're going to be showing everybody your resume in just a second. But while we're still looking at this job position description, now we're at the responsibilities part. And again, look at it. Look here. They're just feeding us the words we need to use. They're going to be looking for these words on your profile. Technical development, launch of innovative products, lead the ideation. Well, basically that's just, coming up with a concept, right? Coming up with the ideas. That's what they're meaning. So we can actually use the word ideation if we want, but we can also use other words to describe it. And what they're saying is establish shared vision across the company by building consistency on priorities, leading to product execution. So, well, we know product execution has to be in your profile. We know that sharing your vision, different times in your different jobs you've had where you've shared your vision, we've got to put those words. And they're basically looking for somebody who can very clearly know what the priorities are and do a good job of getting people to agree. That's what building consensus on priorities means, right? So now here, drive product development. Well, we've got to have product development in lots of places on your profile, which is going to be easy to do because you've done that. And they're looking for somebody that has the ability to work with a team of world-class engineers and designers. So we're going to be using those words as well. There's been a lot of times when you've worked as a team with world-class engineers and designers because, hey, the military it's all about working together as a team. It's just wonderful. So that's going to be easy.
Right.
And then, this part here, integrate usability studies. Well, you need to show them that you know what that means, and you need to show them that you have done that in so many words. And I might even have to look that up on Google to see what it really means, because, that's just not something that I've ever personally done. But you can do that. Like if you run into words that, like, I don't understand these, I would just go to Google and Google it and see exactly what it means, so I can do a very good job of showing them which positions I've had, I've actually done that. So we know that we need the words research and market analysis in your profile all over the place, because that's going to be something they're looking for. To enhance user satisfaction, basically they're just saying that they want somebody that's good at doing research and market analysis and figuring out how to bring that into the equation here, so the users of the product are really happy. You basically, what this is telling me is somewhere in your profile, probably in several different places, you need to show different times when you have done some research to figure out what people really want, what the end user really wants to where they're going to be really satisfied, and how you didn't just guess, you did the research. That's what they're looking for. You analyzed the marketplace. So as I'm saying all this, I bet you're coming up with all kinds of ideas of when you have done that, right?
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. And so this is the beautiful thing about doing it this way. You don't even have to think up the words yourself. You know what words they're looking for, and let's just continue through here. Define and analyze metrics that inform the success of products. Well, they basically want to be real successful with the products they're launching, right? So it's just more testing, defining and analyzing the metrics. Now, again, you might want to Google that. I would have to Google that, because I'm not sure exactly what they want, but you might even know exactly what that is. But anyway, in the next one here, understand Facebook's strategic and competitive position. Well, this means that you will have taken time to analyze and to research who Facebook's partners are and who their competitors are. You better know before you go in that door. And, of course, to do a good job in bringing new products to the market, you got to know what's not being offered now, that people want. Or maybe it's just finding a better way to bring something to the market that's been done before. So you've got to show that in your past positions you have done all kinds of research on various things to find out just the strategic way to introduce ideas, and to find out who you're competing against and what you're competing against. And it says, and to deliver products that are recognized best in the industry. So deliver products, competitive position, strategic, these are all words that they need to see. And in the industry, all of these words need to go in your profile. And not just one place, but several places. Then it says maximize efficiency in a constantly evolving environment. Well, I bet you could think of a ton of times you've done that.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you were in Afghanistan.
Definitely.
So,
overcome.
Yeah. I mean, it's totally always changing, involving the environment where you've been, and you want to use these words, okay? Just so you know, with all the training we've done, we have found, and recruiters have told us this directly, that the reason they have not hired a lot of veterans is they don't know what the heck they're talking about on their resumes. They don't speak military. They don't know what that means that you've done. And so, isn't that great? You just use these words straight out of this and apply it to what you've actually done. And it keeps it really simple. And so, you have to ask yourself, what does this mean? Maximize efficiency in a constantly evolving environment where the process is fluid. That means you do it seamlessly, right? It's just like you could do this with your eyes closed. And creative solutions are the norm. Yeah. And so basically you want to use the term creative solutions a lot too. You want to show them different places where you've you've had to come up with creative solutions on the fly, and you have lots of time. So, okay, now you get down into the requirements. So they're looking for 2+ years of product management or product design experience. And so what you're going to show them is you do have, at least 2 years of jobs that you've done where you have been working with product management or product design, And it doesn't mean that the title of your job was product manager. It might not have been. But it could have been that that's exactly what you were doing. They just didn't call it that in the military, So basically, what I'd like to see, for instance, on your profile is those job titles. If you want to, you could start out the title with, like, the military job title. And then in parentheses, right next to it, you could put in parentheses, like product management and product design. So they know that that's what that was. So, exceptional communication and presentation skills. So trust me, they're going to be looking for signs right on your profile and on your resume that you're an exceptional communicator. You can't have misspelled words. That's another thing that gets people kicked out of even being considered, just so you know. They shoot themselves in the foot by not spell checking their resume or their profile. You have to.
Yeah. Wow.
Obviously, this job is going to require somebody who's really good at communicating, and so what does that mean? You got to show them right in words that you're an exceptional communicator. You're going to say that, and that you're very good at presenting things. You're going to use these exact words, and you're going to show them exactly how you did it on your profile. So they're looking for exceptional organizational and analytical skills. Well, one way to do this, again, you could Google that and see what comes up, because it's going to give you all kinds of definitions of exactly what that means. And you want to definitely use these words for sure, exceptional organizational and analytical skills, but you might also want to use some of the words you find when you Google it to show that beyond a shadow of a doubt, that's what you were doing. You were showing that you had exceptional organizational and analytical skills when you just think of all the times that if you weren't highly organized, you would have died,
Right, totally.
Pretty much comes down to that in the military. And so, just use those words. That's the bottom line here. So now this one, understanding of the technical architecture of complex and highly scalable web applications and or media products. Again, you're going to be using these exact words, not necessarily in this order. You don't want to just copy and paste everything right off the job description into your profile, or that might not look real good. But you definitely, just do a good job of using these words all over the place, showing that you know exactly what they mean and that you understand what they're looking for here. So, experience designing simple and intuitive user interfaces. Okay, so we know right now designing simple and intuitive user interfaces needs to be all over your profile. Now, you probably know way better than me what that means exactly. Again, I would have to Google that because user interfaces is not something that I've used in the jobs that I've done. That's why I'm not applying for this job. I wouldn't be qualified. Ability to create examples through wireframes and mock-ups. So now that's kind of specific.
Those are like blueprints for a web app or website or something like that. There's different software you have to use to make
they
them.
like wireframes, and I don't even know what that means. Obviously you do, and mock-ups, but they're going to be looking for the words wireframes and mock-ups. That's the bottom line. And you've got to use those words plus show them exactly what you did to prove that that's what you were doing. And then experience developing social products, technologies, and platforms is strongly desired. Well, developing social products. That's just products that people use when they're on social media, you know? And other things, right?
Media apps themselves, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Technologies and platforms, you know, basically they would love to find somebody that's already worked for another social media platform, perhaps. But it could be that there's other ways you can show that you have that experience that they need. And by the way, here's an idea. I really encourage people to go to Facebook's LinkedIn company page and notice who works there. It'll show you their names. And then you go to their profiles, see what they did on their profile. See where they worked before they got a job at Facebook. It's going to give you some ideas. Those were the skills that got them the job. And so it may not be a bad idea to borrow some of the ideas you see on other people's profiles that actually work at Facebook now. Of course, you're only going to be borrowing ideas that are actually authentic for you. That goes without saying. But it worked for them, you know, got them a job. So, and they want somebody, they're saying ideal, okay, they're hoping to find somebody that has all of this stuff plus a 4-year degree in computer science or related technical field. Okay? So you could Google related technical field to computer science and get really super clear on what that could be, or you probably already know, Daniel, okay? But I'm just telling you that, you know, this is not my field, and I'm not sure exactly, you know, what related technical fields would mean to them. But anyway, that's the bottom of that, that's the end of that entire job listing. And that's pretty much how to make this work. Now let's look at your resume here. Okay, here we go. Here's your resume. Well, look at that. Creative innovator, right at the top. That's really good. And now that you know some of the words you need to use, you probably want to change this introductory statement to incorporate more of the words they're looking for and right at the beginning. One thing I've been told is recruiters will usually spend an average of about 9 seconds on your profile and on your resume. If you don't grab them that quick, they're on to the next one. And so you have to show, yeah. I mean, that's if they even see it. They won't even see it at all if you don't have the right keywords somewhere in your profile, because a lot of them just, you know, like your resume gets run through a machine that has been programmed to look for certain keywords. And I hope that people that didn't realize that are sitting back and going, are you kidding me? Because it's really important to know that. There's tons of people out there, right, sending out resumes, and they never hear back, and they don't know what's going on. They start taking it personally. What they don't know, they didn't even have the right keywords on their profile. They literally weren't even seen. Nobody even saw their resume. It just went right through because it didn't have the keywords that they had been programmed to look for. So it really gets pretty simple once you start understanding that this is how they search for you and this is how they find you. So now, I am not an expert on resumes, not at all, but I'm just telling you, you know, a couple of things. At the top of your resume, definitely what I would do is put the URL link to your LinkedIn profile right underneath your contact information here. And, you know, before I sent this resume to them, I would custom tailor it just for that job. And everybody says that, right? You don't use the same resume for everybody. You custom tailor it for the job you're applying for. So you can have the words they're looking for right in specific, you know, positions. So let's go to your profile now on LinkedIn. And, okay, so now that we've started with that other conversation, you can see a couple changes that you probably would want to make. I wouldn't start out with leader. I would start out with product manager, and project manager. I would put those words first, okay? And I would use the word innovator instead of leader, because did you notice the word leader was nowhere in that job opening description? But innovator was, and you might even want to put, some other words that were exactly in that job description. So, because remember, 9 seconds is all you got.
Right.
And not only that, but a lot of recruiters find people in groups, and in groups, all you can see is somebody's name and their headline. That's it. Unless you open up their profile, which they won't even do if the words they're looking for aren't right here. So, okay, now you know some homework you need to do there. And by the way, for those of you who are listening, if you like these little diamond shapes, it is as simple as copying them and pasting them into yours. I have a diamond symbol in my headline, so please feel free to invite me to connect. If you would, please, with a custom tailored message telling me how you found me and why you want to connect with me, that'd be great. And then you can just go to my profile, and invite Daniel to connect too. I'm assuming that you're open to people inviting you. So
yes.
Yeah, we'll make it real easy for them to find that diamond symbol. And so, okay, the next thing you want to do is right here at the top of your summary section, you want to do the same kind of thing that you did up here and even more, because up here, this is about as much space as they're going to give you. But here in the summary section, you can make it longer. You still want to start out, in my opinion, it's a good idea to start out with a bunch of keywords that they're looking for. You want them to almost subconsciously be going, whoa, this guy's perfect. Okay, and then in your summary section, you need to reword this to where you're using the words they're looking for. They need to be right in your summary section too, all through here. But of course, you're limited to space. And I would encourage people, go to my profile. If you like the structure that I've used in my summary section, I tell everybody in my classes, copy my summary section onto a Word document. Change the words to where they work for you, but stick with that structure if you like it. It does break your summary section down, because I didn't think it up. I've just been using the best ideas from people's profiles I've seen over the last 8 years that I've been on LinkedIn and just kind of made it me. But one thing you definitely want to do is have a lot of white space. Don't jam a bunch of words together. Nobody's going to read it. And break it up into sections and diamonds and all that, bullet points. That's the reason I'm encouraging you to look to see, how I did it. So now when you get down to the experience section, here we are with your first current position. And now you see how you really need to be using the words from their job position to describe what you did here. I mean, you could they're looking for an entrepreneur. Okay, so you could use the word entrepreneur because you certainly are. And you want to use the word product, development, different things like that. And now the job position titles have to be even shorter than the headline up here. It can't be this long. And so that's why I encourage people to have several different job titles, which means that you've got to add several different positions. And even if you've been in the same job your whole life, when you think about it, there's totally different types of things you did in that job, so each one of them can be a different position. Of course, you have the company name the same every place, but you have the dates different, and you have the job titles different. Remember, the whole reason you're doing all of this is to be found. So you have to use words that people are searching with, not what words you wish they were searching with.
Right.
So, yeah. So, but the beautiful thing is, and I know I've repeated myself so many times, but I want to be sure people really get this. It's kind of easy because they're telling you what words they like. And as long as you're using the words they're in love with, they're going to love you, okay? So after you create your title here, using these words that are very important, you're going to start describing what you did, and you want to put it in first person, okay? Like I, and talk from it, because you're building a relationship with the person that's reading your profile. And I know that's not how a lot of people do it. A lot of people just copy and paste their resume right into their profile, and they're missing the boat, because the profile on LinkedIn is about developing a relationship with people. The recruiters are going to look at your resume for the cold, hard facts. They need to know that you've got the skills, and then they're going to go to your profile on LinkedIn to see if you're the right person that's going to fit in with their company culture and all the stuff that you didn't have time or room to say on a 1 or 2 page resume. So you're going to show them that you're a good communicator. Remember how important that was to them. And
right.
You're going to show them that you're very good at getting people to agree on things and helping people come to a consensus of priorities, and you're going to be using these same words, but you're going to be telling them what you did in this particular position. And each paragraph, I'm just going to suggest you don't want more than 3 or 4 lines in each paragraph. Even this paragraph is too long, believe it or not. People that are in a hurry tend to go, like, oh, God, I don't have time to read that. But if you just have it broken down into smaller paragraphs, and then, like after this one, you want to have another break with another white line, blank line, and then maybe a section header, something like, some of the top skills that I use in this position are, colon, and then blank space, and then list these. You don't want these to touch this. You want this to be a whole other section, etc. And, of course, the difference is you're going to be using the words that they love, and you're going to be applying it to how they apply to this position. Okay, so you're going to scroll down, and this is just fine because, like we said before, this is another current position. By the way, when you have more than one current position, you are allowed to drag one down below another, because you don't want this being your first thing showing up. Okay. You might even want to make it your third or fourth. Okay. But anyway, the way this is designed, you see how it's just 4 lines max, and then a blank line. Another 4 lines, and then short, short, short. People will read the whole thing if you just, they'll read your whole profile if you do it this way and have the words that they're looking for. So let's go down here. Now, here's one of your Navy positions, and project manager, perfect. But now you see how you have an opportunity. You want to use every single little inch they're going to give you in your job title. And the stuff that you didn't have a chance perhaps to use up here, now you can use them in this other position. And in this position, you're going to make it long enough, the description long enough of what you did in this position to give you a chance to use a lot of the same words that they like. And so people that only have, and I'm not meaning to pick on you, Daniel, but you know how there's only one line here? You're just simply missing the boat because you have a lot of room you can use on these job descriptions, and you need to use it because you have to keep using all of those keywords in several different places on your profile. So, for instance, let's keep going here. This is another Navy position where you used your project manager skills and you were in Afghanistan. I don't need to repeat myself again. You're going to talk about what you did in Afghanistan in a way that uses the words they love. That's it. It shows that you have the experience that they need. And I'm just going to go back to look at your resume again because I know that we haven't talked about this yet, but I just happen to know this about you because I've seen your resume before, that you actually have a really good opportunity to show them just how innovative and entrepreneurial you really are. Because I know that while you were in Afghanistan, this is what you need to say right on your profile. You need to create a position just for this, where you wrote that screenplay.
Yeah.
And you're going to title it, innovative entrepreneur, writer, author of screenplay, whatever. And then in the position, you're going to be sure that they realize that you are writing this screenplay while rockets were coming at you.
Right.
I mean, now remember how in their job description, here it is. Remember this one where they were saying that we're looking for proof that you, what was the word? What were the words they used? That you are able to maximize efficiency in a constantly evolving environment. That's why I was cracking up when I saw this, because I know how perfectly this describes what you were doing there.
Yeah, totally.
Make it clear. I mean, you were writing, in fact, this is how I would describe it. Be sure that you say, that you were writing a screenplay that was a takeoff on MASH. That's what you told me, kind of something similar to MASH, if there had been, such a thing. And so, where is it here? Your resume. Here we go. I would definitely say I wrote a screenplay that was like a takeoff of MASH. You want to use synonyms that people understand. And the reason it's so important is, in just a few words, you've communicated a paragraph. Like, for instance, with musicians, what they say, if you're trying to tell people what your music's like, say something like, well, if you like, Prince and Led Zeppelin, well, my music is kind of like a cross between Prince and Led Zeppelin, whatever.
Right.
They get that, It's like, oh, they can relate to those phrases. So you want to use descriptive things like that. And then I happen to know, Daniel, that you actually were successful in selling the treatment, your concept of a whole show to Warner Brothers.
Yeah.
You need to make it really clear right in that position description that that's what it resulted in. You sold that thing to Warner Brothers when you got back to the United States.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
totally
huge. I mean, let me ask you this. How many other people have done that, you think, while they were being, while they were dodging rockets? Write something that was so good that Warner Brothers snapped it up. I mean, that is amazing. I mean, I bet you that just from people hearing this recording right now, they're going to go straight to your profile and go, who is this dude? And they're going to be looking.
Yeah.
Oh, I know they will.
It was
because,
a crazy
I mean,
experience, and I learned so much. I just learned the insides and out of the industry, and just a lot about creativity, and more so about execution. Because one thing you learn big is that sometimes it's not just the idea, but the execution of it. And it's just a lot of experience during that time.
Yeah, you bet. And you know what? I would not be shy about telling them, that you think the world of Jerry Bruckheimer, because he's a really military-friendly person, and that your association with him has been nothing but positive. I mean, don't be afraid to use his name because, geez, that's huge.
Yeah.
There's very few people that know him, considering how many people would like to,
Right.
So,
totally.
Anyway, of course, there's so much more we could say, but back to your profile, we're just going to end this up so it doesn't get too long. You can have more than one position. Like, for instance, I'm just going to make this point. You were in the Navy for a long time. So yes, you can have 2 or 3 different positions where you were in the Navy, use different dates where you were doing separate things. Maybe in different places would be one way to break it up. Maybe, between this year and this year, you really were mostly working with, heavy equipment. But, of course, everything that you talk about on your profile, try to remember that you want to write it in a way that the recruiter would instantly get like, oh, my God, if he could do that, it's the equivalent of what we need him to be able to know how to do for
awesome.
this.
Totally.
Yeah.
That's what I'm trying to get.
Yeah, it's going to be easy because you're going to use the words they speak. It's just like you wouldn't want to write your profile in Spanish. I mean, I know how you know how to speak Spanish. I know you do, but not many recruiters do that. They're going to be looking for you probably in Silicon Valley, Facebook, whatever. So you want to write it in their language. So now I'll just tell you a couple other things that are super important in your volunteer experiences. Again, you've got the opportunity here to get a lot more of those keywords in, so just do it. And when you get down here to, thank you. I really appreciate that you put Project Transition USA as an organization to support.
Totally.
Thank you, Daniel. And down here in skills, now this is another place. You've only got so many. Of course, you've got a lot that you can use, but be sure every single one of those important keywords from that job description are included in your skills. If you have to get rid of one of them to make room for one that they need to see, do it, okay?
Okay.
Okay, and then when you come down here to education, well, look at this. You've got a degree in computer science. That's what they want. Wow. And I would add more, I would flesh this out some more. Again, why? Because you've got the room to add some more keywords that they're looking for. The more you have those keywords on your profile, the higher you'll turn up in search rankings. So you could even say, I studied, some subjects that I studied are blah, 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 and use those words if you did study it.
Yeah,
now,
that's a really good idea because I was struggling with that paragraph, that particular section on education because it's not finished. So I was like, how do I try this stuff? That might, like how you just said right now about adding like different courses that you've taken, stuff like that.
Yeah. I don't think it's as important to them that you actually have the degree as that you have 2 years equivalent of experience in it. And when they see that you've done all those things and you've been doing it for way more than 2 years, they're going to go, oh, well, I qualify. So one last thing, the interests here. You've done them perfectly, okay? You just need to make sure to incorporate every single important word in that job description. And not to beat a dead horse, because I've said it a million times, but they need to be in your interest too, okay? And just so other people know what I mean when I say you've done it perfectly, you want to have your interests followed by a comma and a space. And the reason why is these are active links that way. And a lot of people don't realize that. Okay, if you use anything but a comma, and if you don't have a space after them, it won't work. These are active links. So sometimes recruiters actually use words and interests to find people. Okay, so now I know I keep saying, here's the last thing I'm going to say, but I'm going to say something more. Remember, when friends write you recommendations, friends and coworkers, they really, bottom line, they just want to help you. And even somebody who has already written you a recommendation, if you notice that they could have used some of those sacred words in your recommendation, you can send it to them and say, hey, Joseph, would you mind terribly just rewording this like this? Just write it out for him, so all you have to do is copy and paste it, where you've already included those words. You know he's going to be fine with it because it's accurate. It really is true that you are good at those things, he's just going to say, sure, no, I just want to help you. So because the keywords people use right in these recommendations rank really high in a search too. So a lot of people don't realize that. Yeah, they're very important. Okay. All right, so let's make sure that you're in the groups on LinkedIn that contain the keywords you need to be found by. Okay? We need to have you in some product manager groups. And how do you find that? Well, I'll just show you real quick. You just go up here, and I think you know this, Daniel, but some other people might not. Go up here, change this to groups, and just type in whatever keyword it is you need to have, product manager. And look at this. There's all kinds of stuff, but I always say just click on the blue button. Don't click on these things. Click on the blue button here. And the groups that are made for product managers show up. Now, no, you don't want this one in Israel because you're just going to go down here, and it tells you right here how big these groups are and how many people. Look at this group. It has 29,000 people in it in Israel. How interesting. 20,000 people. Look at that. It's for 4 product managers of various companies. You need to join this group, okay? Product manager jobs in startups. Well,
that green text, is that how many people are in that group that are in your network?
Well,
the small green text?
Yeah, it is. This is how many members are in that group, and this is how many people are in your network that are in your group. Now, it does not necessarily mean that there are first, second, or third level connections. It could be that you're in another group together. That's why it's so important to be in all of these groups, these 50 groups. So it's so important for you. I would join 2 or 3 product manager groups, and I would also go up here and change this to project, okay, and join some groups for project managers too. Let's see what we find here. Yeah, look at that. Look at this. The number 1 group for project managers, there's over 633,000 people in that group. Wow. You got to be in that one for sure. And you might want to join this too. Now, remember this. You want the words project manager all over your profile, and you also want the words project management all over your profile, both. People might be typing in one or the other. You got to catch them no matter what way they put it in. Okay. Okay. Now, another thing I would really encourage you to do, and I'm going to end with this. I would connect with some people that work at Facebook right now. And you might want to connect with some of the project managers. Now, let me just show you this real quick. It's just so important that I want to show you this. Type in Facebook, and we've chosen company pages, company. So click that. You're going to go to Facebook's company page. Okay, this is the group. The company page. You're going to open that up, and you're going to, I'm already following them, but you're going to click follow, and you're going to read everything on their company page. You're going to expand this. You're going to read everything there, and because this is telling you words that are sacred to Facebook. You need those words too, because one thing they're looking for is to see if you're going to fit in with their culture. And the way they decide that is if you're using the words that are all over their company page and in their updates, and you've been reading the stuff that they have on their company page, and you know what's important to them, of course they're going to feel like you're going to fit in. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, totally.
And people just don't understand this. It's all about choosing the right word. Because if you have the right words on your profile, and you're following their company page, and you're connected to people that work there. Let's see, I only have 2 first-degree connections. there, but let me just see. See how, look at this though. If you're connected to just 2 people inside of Facebook, look how it gave me almost, wow, geez, over 1,900 second-degree connections from 2 first-degree connections. And let me just see who I'm connected with here. Mark Howard, HR generalist at Facebook in San Francisco. And site supervisor, cable infrastructure build team. Okay, I'm connected with him too. So, you know, I'm going to go back here and show you how to find people that work at Facebook. Okay. Click on See All on their company page and look at this. Over 6,900 people, all right, are connected with Facebook in some way. It doesn't mean they work there now. They could have worked there before. But, you know, that's an awful lot of people. You could click on this second-degree connections because, frankly, if they're not second degree to you, you can't even invite them to connect, okay? So you're going to you're going to limit it by that, and you could choose to just connect with people, you know, in the town, in a particular town. That helps you. I mean, for instance, this Facebook position is in Menlo Park. That's in San Francisco Bay Area, right?
Yeah.
So it's not a bad idea to start with connecting with people in San Francisco Bay Area that look at Facebook, that work at Facebook, and you can, well, you've got a lot to pick from here. All I'm saying is, see if you can find you know, if you went to advanced search, just click on advanced search up here. Now, advanced search lets you add a title like product manager. So look what I'm going to do here, product manager, and I want them to be current. Product manager. I'm going to scroll down, and now it's going to, instead of 1,000 people, it's going to take me down to 54 results. Look at this. These are only people that work at Facebook and are product managers in San Francisco. Isn't that interesting? So you really can. You can find a needle in a haystack here on LinkedIn. People just don't know how to do this. And trust me, will it matter to them that you're connected to a bunch of project managers at Facebook? Heck yes. Yeah, they're going to love that. And you probably need to actually have emailed them and get the inside scoop from project managers as to what they feel helped them get hired, okay? You know, tell them. And in fact, if you wanted to, you could even narrow the search more to just find the veterans. Now, this is really interesting. You can put keywords like, narrow it down further, put, you know, people use different words on their profile. So you could do like Army, or Navy, or, you know, Marines, or Coast Guard, right? And then go down here and click search again. Okay, that's just too much, right? So take some stuff out, you know, just leave Army and Navy in it, and then do the search again. And just see what you find. Okay, don't find any there either. Well, it just means that the product managers haven't used those words. I would bet you anything that one of them, at least one of them, isn't a veteran, but they're not using those words on their profile. That's all it means. You could put veteran. Because the reason I'm going to all this trouble, of course, what I've been learning, well, we're just not finding anybody, but sometimes it just happens. But it's really nice to connect with the veteran that works at Facebook. You know, maybe it doesn't matter so much right now if they're product managers. Maybe we're just being too specific. We could take the title out and do that search again. I won't do it because we're just taking too much time here. But if you could make your goal to be connected to as many people that work at Facebook as possible, who are in San Francisco especially, and as many of them as you can find that are veterans, it's like gold. So valuable, can't begin to tell you how much this is going to help you, because veterans understand what you're going through right now, right?
Hopefully so, yeah.
Oh, of course they do. It's like they just might have been in your place not too long ago. Veterans love helping other veterans, trust me. And there's a bunch of them in our Project Transition USA group, so get highly connected there. I mean, pretty much everybody in our group is safe to invite. They know that you're new at LinkedIn. They probably are too. And at the very least, they're very military friendly, or they would never be in that group. So
right on.
I always tell people that group is kind of like mangroves to baby fish. It's a safe place to grow. You know, you won't get eaten alive. You'll be able to get bigger and you know, really talented in using LinkedIn. But anyway, Daniel, remember how I told you I was wanting a 15-minute module? Well, I don't even know how much time we've gone on today, but I just want to ask you for some feedback. I've done most of the talking. Just tell me your feedback on this. Do you think this kind of stuff is going to help you and other people?
Yeah, and first off, I want to say, like, I definitely, again, have a lot of homework to do as far as my profile goes.
Mm-hmm.
But I do feel like everything that you do can help veterans, and whoever hears this, just in general with LinkedIn, you're very well knowledged, and you're like a LinkedIn guru. So definitely thanks for showing all this stuff, and I feel a lot more confident now, more after this session, with even just the key things that I need to do for my profile, like with my television experience and trying to put more of my creative experience out there. So, yeah, all positive feedback at this point, Nancy. It was great.
Well, I know. Thank you, Daniel. I'm just so happy to help, and I know that we've gone into a lot of different areas on this call, but it's like, now you know. It's no magic figuring out what words to use in your profile. What makes it hard for people is if they don't have a specific job in mind. And I always tell people, like, don't worry too much that you're narrowing your chances by making it so job specific, because you're really not. There's a lot of different, for instance, a lot of different product manager jobs out there that you'll be perfectly suited for, not just this one. There's a lot of different recruiters from lots of different companies, you know, that are searching with those same keywords. So, you know, I'll be standing by to help you, and also reach out to the members of our group. For instance, after you've made sure that those keywords are just everywhere, it won't be obnoxious. I mean, it won't even be really clear that you've tried so hard to get those all over your profile. It's going to be, it will flow. You know, it's a work in progress, and it'll always be getting better. You know, I've been working on my profile for 8 years, and I change it a lot. So you will be too. You know, it's like a website; it's never done.
Right.
So, but I believe, you know, if you can show that you have experience in website stuff, and you know, I know you've done just so many different things. Just be sure that you put everything you can, because you never know which word is going to get you the job. And people love that you have a widely diverse experience. They're glad that you haven't done just one thing. I mean, I bet you almost...
I think it's about trying to find a way to word it. You know, I think that's really what it comes down to.
Yeah,
I mean, my experience is super diverse. Everything, you know, from overseas during military deployments to like television. It's just sometimes I mean, just not just me, but other people in general too. Like if they have something like that kind of doesn't maybe quite fit with the rest, they might be hesitant to put it on there. And a lot of the stuff that you just said in this last session has kind of helped me think about it in a new way as far as portraying it on my profile.
Yeah, because in some way it does fit. It shows that you've been using those skills. You've been innovative in so many different ways your whole life, and you just never really thought that. It's very, very consistent that you've been showing how innovative you are. You've just been doing it in wildly diverse, ways. But, well, thank you. And I guess we'll just bring this to a close right now and just say Happy Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving, Daniel.
Thank you, Nancy. Happy Thanksgiving to you. Thank you for another awesome session.
And happy Thanksgiving to everybody listening to this now. And we will see you down the road.
All right. Talk to you later, Nancy. Thank you.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.